You know, studying abroad has always been really important to me. I know a lot of people who have studied abroad from my home institution, and they've shared their experiences with me and everything, and I've always loved traveling, and so I chose to make it a priority within my college years.
I always knew I wanted to go abroad, even before I was in college, and I mean, it's just been such a good experience to travel and see Europe and at the same time still be getting credits towards my degree.
I had a lot of people from Clemson tell me how rewarding of an experience it was for them. I love to travel, and I thought it would be cool to combine travel with school and kind of kill two birds with one stone.
I think I really wanted kind of a break from normal life back home. I'd always heard amazing things from students who've come back from study abroad programs and said they had the time of their lives, and it seemed just like such a unique and a new experience, one I think I really would have regretted if I hadn't taken advantage of.
So when I was at Clemson talking with the study abroad office, they mentioned LdM as a place since they knew I wanted to come to Italy. And I looked at it, I talked to some of the reps that came to Clemson to the study abroad fair that we had, and I just fell in love with it. It kind of seemed like the perfect fit.
I researched a little bit more about it, and Lorenzo fit the criteria for my major perfectly.
It seemed like a good opportunity to be abroad, to actually get the international experience, and then also to focus on something that I'm really passionate about, something they specialize in.
Let's just say I like a lot of options when it comes to packing.
And I was like at 49 and a half, I think, something like that, and wound up leaving stuff in Boston.
I was stuffing as much as I could in there. So packing wasn't too bad, but I definitely brought much more than I actually needed.
Packing was interesting. It's going to be even more interesting trying to get it all back home since I've bought some things here.
Getting here was perfectly, it just went smoothly.
We got off and I had all my things in my hands. I was ready to show them my passport, my visa.
No one asked us, to stamp your passport or anything like that. And my friend and I that I came with, we thought, oh my gosh, we're in the country illegally. We didn't get our passport stamped. What happened?
The cab ride was terrifying because the roads are tiny. I thought we were gonna hit at least 4 different bicyclists, and he was driving very fast.
The first thing that really caught my eye obviously was the doorknob. We drove past it and you kind of just stare at it. Your jaw drops and it's beautiful.
I was overcome with just what was around me. I remember first looking at the Duomo and stopping and staring for a little while.
These cobblestone streets and these old buildings, artwork and sculptures everywhere that you just don't get in the US at all.
Once I looked at the course list, LdM offered a bunch of classes that really interested me.
Every class I'm taking here counts towards my major or my minor.
A couple of my classmates back at school had told me about the International Conflict Transformation Certificate, and it seemed like the perfect opportunity for an international relations major.
I really like the small class sizes. I think it gives you an ideal environment for learning, which is really nice. You really get to create a good relationship with a teacher.
I've always loved cooking. I've always wanted to open my own bakery. So the food class was really, really awesome for me.
Well, I'm a marketing major, so most of my classes center around that. I'm doing international marketing and a marketing communications class, and then also some event planning. Integrated marketing communications with Stefano Medici. He's so fun. It's basically a class where we kind of analyze and compare marketing and communications and how both of them coincide with each other in business.
There are 2 main points, which I personally call personal responsibility, and the other one is called social responsibility. And these 2 topics I explore in all courses. So when I say personal responsibility, it's a process of discovery of themselves, their strengths, their weaknesses, them as professionals. And the social responsible component is, if I decided to become a marketer, what's going to be my contribution?
I'm also taking Introduction to Marketing here with Chiara Iole. She is one of my favorite professors here. It's just a basic introduction to marketing. I chose to take it at LdM instead of my home institution because there's more of an experience here.
In my marketing courses, I teach mainly based on the 4 P's of the marketing mix: product, pricing, place and promotion. I teach them how to enhance the product, how to make a good strategy to promote and to highlight the competitive advantage of the company based on the 4 P's.
I have a marketing internship here with LdM. I report to Sana Ungaro, who's a marketing professor here at LdM. I work weekly at their office location twice a week to overall develop a marketing merchandising strategy for LdM.
I have to say ancient work class is one of my favorite classes that I've taken ever. One, the teacher, she's an archaeologist, so she obviously knows a lot about history and what she's talking about. She's just so passionate about what she had to say and tell us about Caesar and Nero and the Colosseum. Even if it doesn't interest you, like if you this story doesn't seem cool, but if she tells you the story, you will automatically be drawn in it.
I think that it's a great choice for them to decide to study ancient Rome, because if you don't study the story of the city, maybe you will never understand it for real. Everything has a reason why in Rome. I want to help them in being able to walk through the narrow streets of Rome, understanding that building, each one of them.
In sketchbook, we've gone through a couple different subjects like drawing with pencil, drawing with paint, drawing with ink. Right now we're doing watercolors, and that's a really fun class because we get to come out here in the park and draw this beautiful view and be outside for 3 hours. And it's just really, really awesome.
They learn some steps in the creative working, simple techniques also, but they also learn how to look at art, they learn how to observe.
Jared, Tim, and I all took part of the in the International Conflict Resolution certificate program here at LdM. We were 3 of 5 students involved in our specific course, which is the conflict mediation course. And we met with a representative from the National Conflict Resolution Center.
We learned about it from the ground up, from a very interpersonal conflict almost to a neighborly dispute, and then by the end of the 3-week seminar on mediation, we were able to see how this might apply on the international scale.
We slowly worked up to doing practical examples of actually mediating staged conflicts, and so that was really great. It was a really great way to sort of round out our courses here.
It wasn't just about learning the theory, it was actually applying it. We may have an hour the class dedicated to the next step in the process, but then the rest of the class was dedicated to actually trying it out in a case study, working as a mediator and acting out how the dispute might play out.
Well, in the body language course, you really learn about healthy ways of nonverbal communication. So actually, she'd probably be angry with me right now. Sorry, Elia. Be good posture in terms of sitting up straight, which in the long run is going to be much healthier for your body.
It asks students to look at their own nonverbal and verbal communication behaviors, let's say, as well as that of other people. So they study the people around them, which in Florence is fantastic because there's people of all cultures, thanks to the tourists, to the immigrants, to the students themselves. And then they have to take a look at themselves internally and see how they are communicating, both non-verbally and verbally, to others.
But as the semester has gone on, I've seen other students kind of progress as well as myself. It really is noticeable how much more confident people appear, how much easier it is to have a conversation, and it's really unique, but definitely something I'm going to take back with me.
Through the school, I went to Amalfi Coast, so I went to Pompeii, Capri, and Sorrento. And that was a trip that I booked at the very beginning of the semester because I knew I wanted to go there. And even better, it was with LdM. They had it all planned, organized. They provided transportation. The hotel was very nice, made you feel comfortable. So they did a wonderful job of coordinating that for the students so they could enjoy their time there. Then we went to a limoncello tasting, which was cool because I couldn't do that on my own. Guide Luca, he knew everyone there. Like he had done this before, and he could tell he was very excited to be there.
We did a walking tour in Rome last week. I mean, she knows everything. She was taking us to all the monuments and telling us all these interesting facts that aren't necessarily in your guidebooks. And so, I mean, it was really cool.
Then I went on another trip to Tuscany, and we went to just a bunch of different places all around Tuscany. That was amazing. It was beautiful. We got to do wine tasting. We got to stay in this really nice hotel, and we saw a bunch of really nice towns.
Living here is definitely very different from home.
Here you can sit and talk, and we always comment on the group of old men that are always hanging out at one of the bars, in town. And I mean, they hang out there all day and they just talk, and I mean, and that's one thing that's
Like,
very
what
true.
do they talk about all day long?
Yeah.
Sitting there with their coffee and their newspaper.
They really, really just take the time to stop and talk to you, and they really care about how you're doing.
I came here to study with my best friend, and actually it's just the two of us. So it's been really cool. The no oven thing, it honestly, it's been at first it was a little frustrating, but then it got fun because it was like, okay, we've just got to be creative with our cooking, what are we gonna do? And taking a food and wine class definitely helped because, we learn little tricks and new things.
My host family, they're so awesome. They treat me like one of their own. And I have a host sister, her name's Oleania, and she's my age, so I've gone out and hung out with her friends.
It's just me and another girl there, and we feel really fortunate because we get to interact with Italians on a daily basis, 3 or 4 times a day.
It's a nice quiet side street where you kind of get to interact and see real people, like real Italians, like living their life, coming from school or leaving for work. The clubs that they offer here are pretty cool. You can be involved in yoga, Pilates, you can do soccer, a movie club.
We've just been watching classic Italian films, which I had never really seen before, or I hadn't seen any of them before. We have a little discussion at the end about just like the impact, but it's cool to see like Italy on film, especially being to a few of the places that like you start to recognize Rome or Florence in the films, which is cool.
I am in the Pilates club. It's very fun. I like working out, and I do that at home, and so it was nice that I get to come here and be able to keep somewhat of my routine.
It helps you a lot to free your mind and begin the week with new thoughts and renewed energy. I don't know, it is very helpful for stress.
And I'm also involved in a few volunteer activities here too. Just before this, I was working down the street with a group of kindergartners, ones who were just starting to learn English. So I'm the foreign English person, or American, teaching them a little bit of the first bits of English.
One of the activities that I did here at LdM was to go to the soccer game for Florence. The whole stadium, I mean, those people love the game. I mean, they're all singing the chants and cheering, and everyone's got flags. And I didn't know what I was cheering about. I didn't know what I was cheering. I know what I was saying.
I have participated in the gelato making.
Well, the gelato we ate was probably the freshest gelato I will ever have in my life.
You got to go in the back, have a taste testing, have multiple taste testings actually, and then get to see what actually goes into gelato, the history behind it, all of that.
And it was so good, it was so creamy. It wasn't too cold, it was like just cold enough to stay together, but like warm enough that was like all the flavors are out there.
end of semester's here. I'm so sad. I don't want to go home. If you'd have asked me 2 weeks ago, maybe even 3 weeks ago, Anna, are you ready to go back home? Have you done Italy? I'd have been like, yeah, I can leave now. And now the shock of leaving has hit me. We've got like this long list of everything that we have to squeeze in one more time before we go.
It's gonna be really nice to go home, see my family, see a few friends before, summer actually gets into full swing. But I'll probably miss here a lot too.
It's exceeded all my expectations, I think.
You come abroad and you think, oh, I'm gonna have a good time, I'm gonna meet a lot of people, but I can honestly say I have learned more in the past 4 months of being here at LdM and in Florence than I have ever in any other situation I've been in.
I've definitely learned patience. Italy is a lot slower than the States, whether it's walking or just learning a new culture. You can't jump into something right away and expect that you're just gonna get it within the first week or day or hour. You have to adjust.
I'm kind of like obsessed with the idea of going new places without any previous knowledge and just seeing how I do there, seeing what it's like, taking it all in now between traveling, just living in Florence, which is a brand new environment, trying new foods and all of that. I think I'm definitely gonna be much more courageous with a lot of aspects of my life.
In America, you only ever go somewhere, you only ever do something if you're going to do it with somebody else, or if you have a place to be. You don't just walk for the sake of walking, or you don't just sit for the sake of just looking. And that's something I've noticed, and I've really been trying to do myself too, which is just kind of like people watching in a way, but kind of just looking at what's around you, just being in the moment and not having to rush in any direction or make it to the next meeting.
I would definitely recommend LdM to any student that I know that would be studying abroad here in Florence.
Since the first day I got here, I have felt welcomed, taken care of, and I've generally felt like people are excited to have me here. Not just, oh, she's coming to study. They're like, yeah, you're here, how can I help you?
It's a very adaptable school to what you want. They put you first, and they show that. They make you a priority. They want you to feel satisfied here.
They give you real world things to think about that you can actually bring into your life when you leave that classroom and walk back into Florence.
If I could describe LdM in one word, I think it would be gateway.
I'd say comfort.
One word for my experience and for LdM, I think perspective.
Opportunity.
I'd say personal. I think LdM is very personal.
Explosion.
I don't know, maybe enriching.
I would say learning with fun.
I'd say life-changing. I think it's probably development.
Diversity.
One word I would think to describe LdM would be family.
In my case, I would say garden.
Illuminating would probably be the best description I can come up with.
I would say growth.
LdM they've built up a good program. They've built up a good number of activities, opportunities, ideas, things that you can do if you want to. You're in no way required to do these things. If you want to take advantage of them all, go for it. They have a great way of facilitating this Italy experience for you. It's going to be up to you, whatever you do, whatever you want to do. This experience is going to be something that you make for yourself. But LdM is there to help give you the opportunities to do those things that you love.